famous Cambridge King's College choir singing Once in Royal David City, a song many of us know as the perfect sound of Christmas. And that includes our next guest, opera singer Lesley Garrett.
But there's only one problem, and she says that all-boy choirs, such as that one, are a throwback to a bygone age, and it's time they admit some girls. The question is she right?
Well, someone disagrees with her. Anne Widdecombe says boys' voices are different to girls'. No need to change a thing. So welcome to you both. Lovely to see you. Very Christmassy. Lesley.
Good to be here.
There's a specific quality, isn't there, about boys' voices at a certain age which people find special?
That is the myth, but it's actually not true. Pre-pubescent children's voices are indistinguishable from one another. Professor David York did a long study to show that boys' and girls' voices are equally sonorous, equally beautiful. And it's a throwback to a bygone time to imagine that boys' voices are the only ones that can sing this music. We have a fantastic choral tradition in our country which we have to encourage, and it has to embrace today's society, which is all about equality. It's all about girls and boys having equal opportunity.
There will be lots of people, Lesley, who are saying there are plenty of choirs out there that are mixed choirs, or choirs for just for girls. Why do you need to take some of these choirs that are notorious, and there's such a tradition, particularly with that choir that we had this morning, and bring girls into it?
Because there's a question of education here. These choirs have extremely good schools attached to them, which have scholarships through the choral system to allow the children, boys in many cases, to have a better education.
OK, Anne Widdecombe, it's about equality, it's about inclusion, it's about education. Let's get up to speed with the times. What do you think?
Much ado about nothing. I mean, all up and down this country, there are boys' choirs, there are girls' choirs, there are mixed choirs, and that has always been so, and I don't see any problem with that at all. If girls can have their own choir, why shouldn't boys have their own choir? And most people do actually enjoy the voices of young boys singing, might be Christmas carols, might be anything else. People can enjoy that, and if they're allowed to enjoy the girls doing it, why shouldn't they be allowed to enjoy the boys doing it? If you want equality, the question is not can you join a particular choir, but can you join a girls' choir? And, of course, you can.
No, I think Anne's missing the point here. I have to say King's College Chapel Choir is a very, very famous choir. It's an international brand. It's seen all over the world on Christmas Day. People tune in from all over the world. It's a global brand, and we are presenting a brand that is all male in an era when that is unheard of.
Anne?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter,
It really doesn't matter whether it's all male... hang on, whether it's all male or all female. It just doesn't matter.
And I wonder sometimes whether you feel that there's too much change, and that you feel like sometimes you're sort of defending tradition in an endless push for change and equality that some people just, might find uncomfortable.
Some change is fine. There's nothing wrong with change that is good. If we didn't have any change at all, women would still be at home in the kitchen and young girls would be trained that that's what they were to expect. Change is necessary. And some change is good, but change for its own sake is not always good. And what I feel now about women is we're looking for grievances. Now we've focused on a boys' choir. Oh, for heaven's sake.
Undoubtedly, Lesley, there will be people saying exactly what Anne's saying this morning. This is a tradition that's existed for years and years and years. Do you really need to make an issue out of this when there are plenty of options for girls?
There are not options for girls to sing at this level. That's the point. This choir is an exceptionally high standard, and to deny girls the opportunity to sing at that standard and to benefit from the education that goes with that is completely wrong, in my opinion. The choral tradition in this country is renowned the world over, and girls are very much part of it. Salisbury Cathedral in the 90s was the first to admit girls, and many of the cathedrals, most of them actually now, and the chapel choirs admit girls. They're behind the times, and the irony is, that King's College were ahead of their time in the 90s, because they were the first to accept female undergraduates. It was an all-male college, and it isn't now.
And it's obviously something, that you disagree with. What do you think because as you say, change is necessary. We now have a female Prime Minister again. You know, we've had 2 of those. For some people, that's a great achievement. What do you think those campaigning for equality should be focusing on right now?
Well, quite honestly, I think we've won the battle. We now have, not only, as you've just pointed out, quite rightly, a woman Prime Minister, but we've got a woman head of the judiciary, we've got a woman head of the Metropolitan Police. I think we have won the battle, and that is where the problem is, because now we are looking for ever more causes that actually have become trivial. And we had a big, serious battle to fight. Now, look round now and ask what we should be looking. And there are plenty of places that we should be looking. The position of women abroad, the position of women in some cultures in this country. There are lots of things we can be looking at that are serious, not boys' choirs at Christmas.
All these subjects are serious. It starts with the, well, I wouldn't call it a small thing, but as Anna said, it starts with the detail. It starts with the fact that unconsciously, if you see an all-boys choir, that makes people think, you know, that's the only way you can get into that choir, by being a boy. It's about role modelling, it's about perception. Yeah. And we've got to pay attention to all of these areas. And actually, we're missing the bigger point here. Even if girls' voices do sound different to boys', which they don't, why shouldn't we have a different sound in a choir?